So we've just turned the corner of the garage, and this is now looking right down into the whole backyard part, which was all grass when we got it. The garage, of course, was here, but it wasn't covered with the wood that we had. The house had an older part that was built in 1922, and then it had an addition in the 50s. And when we came, it was stone outside. So we had really liked our barn and missed our farm, so we decided to put the barn board a look. And so the garage became a barn board kind of look as well. So again, here there's 4 beds. So the neat thing is that George loved planning, and he should have probably been an architect or something. He was a doctor, but he should have been, because he loved on paper planning things out. So in his book that he left for me to look after the garden, he had everything mapped out, what was in every garden. So then in the middle of and he had a lot of pictures attached to the book, and so each bed had a plan, and each year he was working towards changing that. So there's been a lot of changes, other than the only thing that's left in this bed from his planning is actually still the one rose bush. And I do have a few tomatoes in here. Now this is an interesting one. This is a radish going to seed. I've never used it as a flower before, but I'm loving it this morning. I'm thinking, well, now I just leave that, because we're going to be on the open garden tour in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to explain that that's what it looks like when a radish goes to seed. On this bed, to get enough color, because we're right under it, this is shade most of the day, I've had to add a splash of an annual, a beautiful petunia one. But the lilies will be coming out. There's lilies in here. And then the other thing that we were working towards to make the garden easier for me to look after was the introduction of bushes into the bed. So along this wall, which is between ourselves and our neighbors, there now are the 5 trees, and they were planted by George in 2005, and they came up to my waist. And look at them now, they're way above my head. So that's kind of neat too. So here I wanted to point out this piece of stained glass. It actually was in the front door of the old house that was built in 1922, and the front door was on the river. We're going to see that in a minute. But I had it saved and had it mounted in the house for a long time, but this year decided to bring it out and give it a celebration place right in on the arbor that was, again, built by George for our birds feeding station. And I think it kind of gives a pretty nice look. And so this year I'm kind of showcasing that piece of stained glass. And I hope to get more stories about who could have possibly built that way back before 1922.